welcome back to my channel. This is Dom, and finally an update on the play along game that it's been going on for, well, about 2 weeks. We haven't had anything because various reasons. I've been away and then my wife's not been well, but we're not going to go over all that. Anyway, finally can continue this play along game, and if you've been watching, you'll have seen that the Allies are taking a little bit of kicking. The objective of this sharp practice game was for the French forces to capture this tower that dominates the crossing of a small river on the border between Spain and Portugal. And so far they've made a pretty good fist of it. The French line infantry piled across the river, smashed through light infantry, and a load of line infantry from British have moved up and are very much having their own way of it there. In the centre, the Spanish provincials tried to hold the line but were pushed back. You can see one group at the back there, very badly damaged, the one moving forward not quite so badly, and some British light infantry, but the French voltigeurs have secured the barricade there. Meanwhile, in the centre, the French grenadiers have crested the hill. They drove away the first lot of provincials and have now got some British line infantry on their right, who were pretty ineffective with their last volley, sadly, for the British anyway. And then at the back there, skulking a bit, are some French lancers just waiting to take the opportunity. There's a French voltigeur group has routed down here. Other than that, nobody's died, or no units have been destroyed yet, apart from those voltigeurs. So we will continue with, I think it's turn 8, if memory serves, and we'll draw the cards. Okay, so let's get cracking. First card is a red flag. Second card is a second red flag. 2 British red flags. A third British red flag. I have shuffled these cards, honestly. So it's 3 in a row. I think they keep going. There's no point. And it's red leader 1. It's all the Brits at the moment. Maybe finally a bit of Allied luck. So that is our friend Major Roy over there with the line infantry. He fired last time and presented. So I think what he'll do is reload for one action, and then he will order that formation to present again, I think. So they're loaded and presented and ready to fire. He is also a level 3 commander with the musician with him, I think. Oh no, he didn't have a musician, apologies. So he can control something up to 9 inches away, which is just outside there, so actually he can't control anything else, because those fellas there are outside of range. So fortunately, that's the end of his activations. Bit of a shame, but such is the risk. Oh well. However, I think having done that, before we move on, I'm going to burn 2 of his cards to do another sharp practice. I think that would be an interesting thing for the Brits to do. So he's going to fire. It will be 16 dice. It'll be 4s to hit. Presented makes it 3s. Move the camera a bit so you can see the rolls. I'll re-roll that one because it's sitting right in the middle. So 1s and 2s are misses. So we've hit 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 hits on that French grenadier formation. Well, this could be interesting. So we'll put, they're in the open, so it's the British choice. They'll put 6 on that side, 5 on that side. These have already got 2 dead. That's what that dice denotes, because these are multi-based, so I can't take off figures. So first against the side with the officer. Forget that, so that's 3 shock. 3 shock, no deaths. And on the left side of the line, oh my goodness, terrible as well, just 2 shock on that side. So not the most dramatic impact, but you know, it's more shock on this on this Grenadiers than they've had. So 3 on this side brings them up to 4, and 2 on the other side brings them up to 4. Interesting. And the British line is unloaded again. Okay, interesting. Let's guard out the pack. British 6 is all the Brits at the moment. British 6 is Captain Eldridge here at the back. And now he is a level 2 commander. Okay, so Captain Eldridge is in a bit of a pickle here. His formation is a little bit knackered. He's got 4 shock here and 2 shock here. Also, his troops are unloaded, and I don't think they presented last time. I think they just fired as they were, if I remember rightly. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to burn the extra flag that they had, make him a level 3 commander. He's going to take 2 shock off this side, and then he's going to order the unit to reload and fire. Got to try and put some pins on this lot here because it's looking very dodgy indeed. So we are in close range, so it's 4s to hit. Get nothing else on the bonus, so it's just 4s to hit. He's got 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus himself is a level 3 now, so that's 14. But he's losing 2 men, so down to 12 dice. Needing 4s. Not the best result either by the look of it. So we've got 2, 4, 5 hits. 5 hits. Should have been 50-50, and yet, yes, missed with 2 extras. So 5 hits. He's going to put... it's going to be spread across the whole formation, basically. So it's going to be... well, I think I'll put 2 over there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. I think that's all he can do. On the side with the French Major, it does kill a man, but it's only 1, and therefore nothing much happens to that formation. In this middle formation, that's a piece of shock, and on this side, that's a dead as well. Crikey. We'll take it off that end. And then at the back is a piece of shock. Is a bit of shock there as well. So not altogether. That was probably more effective actually, given the small number of hits. Is it going to be enough to stop the Frenchies? French 2 is their sergeant with this formation. He's here, so he might as well take the shock off the unit he's with. I did see somebody commenting that the officer has to be with a unit to take shock off, which I hadn't got right, sorry. So the French level 1, that is Major Marcel, a level 3 commander, who's in charge of all this lot here. Oh dear, this could be bad for the Brits, or for the Allies. So, what's he going to do? I feel like they want to get in and they're unloaded at the moment, so otherwise I'd be tempted to charge them. So I think they're going to reload and fire. I think that's what they're going to do with his first activation. So he's a level 3 commander. He will reload and fire. Now this is smoke left over from a random event earlier on, which affects the ability to hit the guys in the building. In fact, I'm not even sure they can be seen up here. Yeah, because they're at the back of the back of the fort, and that does change things a bit. tell you what, I think I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold with the French. That's what they're here for. They are going to charge forward. Let's see how far they can go. They've got no flags to activate, so it's just 2 dice. We'll go as far as they can. Oh, throwing a 9. A 9. What does that do? Well, that makes contact. That actually makes contact. So let's take all this smoke off for the moment. Put it on the British because they are unloaded. These will smash into there. They'll smash into there. I suppose they should be broken off probably because of the charge would stop them climbing over because they'd be slowed by that. So I think we're going to say that breaks off there. The Major continues to there because he's with that group, and these guys follow on behind. I think that's probably the logical thing. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I'm going to play it for now. So actually it's just the little man going in, the sergeant going in this combat, but both sides are unloaded. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so fisticuffs. Let's find the necessary page. Both sides are line troops, so that gives them D6. Now I'm going to treat them as... Do I keep them as... I guess they fight combined here. So we'll start with this one first. 4, 6 dice for the French. The British are still just at 50, just above 50%, so they get 6 dice. If he went below 50%, they'd lose dice. Any command cards? Nobody's got any command cards. The British are at level higher, so they get 2 extra dice for that. However, they are meeting the engagement unloaded, so they lose those 2. Each 2 points of shock removes a dice. They've got 2 points there, so they're down to 5. Captain Eldridge is joining the fight. He's a level 2 commander. A sergeant here is joining. He's a level 1 commander. And I think that is it. So let's do the French first. Ooh, that's not good. That is not good at all. 1 hit. That's all they did out of that. British fighting back. They do 1 hit too. So 1v1. That is it. So is it the big man on the French side? No. Is it the big man on the British side? No. So another dude is killed on each side. So a draw. Fight again immediately unless one side breaks due to shock. Nobody's got enough shock to worry about because the 5 didn't give any shock. So we carry on for round 2. Both sides are unloaded, but it doesn't matter for this time. However, this time the British are only at 50%. So they only get 3 dice. That's all they get. The French still get their 6. Each leader attached, the Brits get 2 there, the French get 1. No command dice, the British are higher quality. Now they're not meeting the attack anymore, so they don't lose the -2. However, they have got shock, so that takes the dice away. So the British are on 2, 4, 6, the French are on 2, 4, 6, 7. So let's see what happens this time, round 2. Drop a dice. Oh, it's a 5 as well. Crikey. French. Well, they got 1 again. That's all they got, but it was with shock. British back. Oh, that's a rather more devastating. So the British scores 4, the French scores 1. Was it Captain Eldridge? No, it wasn't. So another man bites the dust. Anybody else singing that song at that moment? The French, however, lose 4. Is it the sergeant? No, it's not. But they do lose 4 men. Ouch. Which rather knackers them. The British, however, get an extra shock. The French do not, because it was a 5 that they were killed with. So the British are now up to 3 shock. The French are now on 0 shock. So the result of that was 3. The French lost by 3. So they are thrown back 12 inches facing away from the enemy. That is a really devastating result. Sergeant Eldridge did his job finally. Maybe that was a bit rash from the French to charge in there, but it has rather caused a problem or two for them. The sergeant goes back with them because he was with them. They also get an additional 3 points of shock. 3 shock on them. They are unloaded as well. They went into the melee unloaded, so they certainly are now. So that is a bad thing that's happened. Group obliged to withdraw, I believe that will be. With a 2, there's no effect, however. Force morale still sticking in there. The other fight here, this wasn't as good, such a good idea as I thought for the French to do this. It's 6v6, as we know, to start with. British neither have a leader, and nobody has command. British have a higher quality, gives them 2 more dice, but they lose that because they're meeting the attack unloaded. They also lose 1 for the shock. So they're on 5, the French are on 6. So let's start with the French. That's 2 hits, including a shock. The Brits fighting back. Do 2 hits, including a shock. So it's a draw. So 2 dead. No officers to lose. So the French lose a man. They're down to 4 men in there. So, and the British, oh, they actually both lose 2 men. What am I talking about? So the advantage is definitely with the Allies there. Definitely. Maybe it wasn't the right move to go in there and fight it out. Never mind. You live and learn. So it's a shock each. 1 and 1. It was a draw, however, which means the fight continues. But this time the British are, they're both at 50%, so both get 3. Both get 3 dice. The British have high quality, so they get 2 for that. But they have got shock, so they lose that. French have only got 1 shock, so they don't lose anything for that. So the French have 3, British have 4. Absolutely nothing from the French. Absolutely nothing from the British. So a draw means you fight again. So this is the final round. You only fight 3 rounds of combat maximum. So actually, let's start with the Brits first. Yeah, they killed 2. And the French back killed 1. So French lose 2 men. They're down to 1 man left. And the Brits lost 1 man. So the upshot of that is the French lost by 1. Which means they're thrown back 6 inches facing the enemy. But there's only 1 of them left. So yeah, not so useful. That has been a chastening experience for the French, but on the positive side it means the Allies are pretty much knackered over here too. So they're exactly on the amount of shock they should have. So 1 figure 1 shock, so that doesn't affect these fellas. These are on 3 with 3 shock. However, I think that's a bad thing that's happened. Forced to withdraw with a 6 is going to be 1 point off the force morale, which brings the French down to a 6. So teetering. Okay, so that was interesting. Was that a rise move? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I suppose the thing is it has destroyed this unit effectively for the British, and the French still have two formations reasonably intact, so it is what it is. Right, so that was his first activation. His second activation, bear in mind he has got a drummer, so he can control quite a lot of things. I think he's going to activate the voltigeurs here, and he will order them. Just move that fence back to where it should be without moving Sergeant Little's troops. He will order the voltigeurs at the barrier to load and fire. Oh no, they don't need to load, they can just fire where they are. Do they fire it? I think they fire it. Do they keep the pressure on the Spanish, or do they try and deal with the voltigeurs? I think they're going to fire at the Spanish. I think that's the better option. Keep these guys pulling back. So it's 6 shots. They're hitting on a 4. 6 shots hitting on a 4. That was a pretty effective volley. They got 4 hits. 4 hits on the Spaniards down there who are in the open. Ooh, 1 dead and 2 shock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shock. Another man down. So that's going to be a retire of some sort. 9 shock with 2, 4, 6, 7 men will be... Okay, so they've got 7 men left with 9 shock, which is 2 over. They're conscripts and volunteers. Actually, no, they're militia, which is 3 inches per over. So they go back 6 inches. Whoops, nearly smacked them there. So they are really, really in trouble. All the way back to there. And they take their shock with them. That's another bad thing that's happened. Definitely looking bad. So roll the dice for bad things. 1 is going to be nothing at all. So that was the French commander's second activation. His third, I don't think he's got anything else he can do. He could command that group over there, but he's not allowed to take shock off because they're too far away and he's not with them. He could order them to activate, but they've got a lot of shock on them. They really need to remove some of that shock. Tell you what they're going to do. He's going to order his mystic to join that unit, the grenadiers over there. He therefore removes, sorry, getting tangled up in my trees. So he joins that. He will then remove 1d6 worth of shock. Now is that across the whole formation? Let me just double check that. Yeah, group or formation. Okay, let's roll the dice. Rolls a 4. That's rather useful. So you can take 2 off each side. So that makes them a little bit more manageable. It does burn the physic, means he's been used now, so he comes off the table. Because they activate at the same time as the big man does, the number 1, that they're considered to be with, and you don't have to dice to move them to the target. So that said, he's got 1 more activation, so he might as well move those grenadiers to bring them round to face the British. So they're going to wheel. They rolled a 3, which allows them to move a little bit straighter, like that. And shall they fire or shall they wait? Well, they've activated already. They can't do a controlled volley, so I think they'll just fire where they are. They fire at those British below them on the valley below. They're in effective range. You've got 4, 8, 12, 14 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 dice, needing 4s. Uh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not a bad volley that. 8 shots, 4 on each side because you have to split it evenly. So we'll put 4 on this side, which doesn't have Major Roy. That's 1 dead and 2 shock. And then on this side, on the side with Major Roy, 1 dead and 3 shock. Oof, that was quite useful. Can't be officer killed because it was a volley, but that was quite a nifty volley from the Grenadiers, considering. However, they are now uncontrolled. I have to remember that. So 2 shock on this side and 3 on the other. Interesting. And the Grenadiers are now unloaded. How's this one going to turn out? Swings and roundabouts. Blue 5 is the next one out the bag. That is... that's the group of voltigeurs that are fleeing the table. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to run. That's all they can do because they've got so much excess shock. And they leave the table. That's them gone. So 5 is out the thing, but that is a bad thing that's happened for the French. A level 1 officer has left the table, and Voltigeur group has left the table as well. Level 1 leaves the table. Let's roll that. A 4 is 1 point off the force morale. Brings it down to 5. Okay, the French, even though they're winning, their force morale is dropping, and for the group obliged to withdraw, rolls a 2, has no effect. Okay, interesting. So the French force morale is now 5, and the British is up at 8. So I have to start being concerned a bit for the force morale. However, take French 5 out the pack because that's gone. That is gone. Next card, French flag. Another French flag. 2 in a row. French 6. French 6, I believe, is our friend the cavalry. Yes, it is. It's the French cavalry. So is it their time to react now? If they can get on the flank of those, if they can get the bounce and get onto the flank, I think that's going to be the best thing for them. So they are going to start to walk and then accelerate up. Well, they start at the walk because that's what they're doing, and then they accelerate to the canter. So we get 2d6 plus 6. I rolled a 10. Actually, 16, which is what they've just got, gets them into the flank. Absolutely does. They smash into this British line here. Oh, this could be game one way or another here. Let's see what happens with this. So he charges in, hits them in the flank, and there's very little they could do about it. Rolled 10, plus because they're cantering now, because they can go up 1 speed, so they move from walk to canter. They move both movement dice, which they rolled 10, plus 3 per dice. So that's 16, and they were only 14 away. So we have some more fisticuffs coming up. Now this is going to be very interesting. So the British start with 6 dice. Okay, the French, who are impact cavalry because they're lancers, and they're at the canter, gives them 9 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. This is not nice. Each leader attached. The French are definitely throwing their leader in, gives them 2. Major Roy is at the other end of the line, so I don't think he can get involved at the moment. French have got 2 flags. I think we're going to hold off with them. Quality wise, Lancers and Regulars are the same, so exactly the same. The British are meeting the attack unloaded, so they lose 2 dice for that. And they've got 2 shocks, so they lose another one for that. However, they have got a supporting group with more than 50%, so they get 3 dice back for that. They are being attacked in the flank, which means they lose half their dice. So they were on 2, 4, 6, so they lose half. They're down to 3 dice. Oh, ouch. This is not looking good. So 3 dice for the Brits do absolutely nothing. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 dice for the French. Well, I was going to say not the very best roll they've ever done, but they did win. They did kill 4 and put 1 additional shock on there. There's no officer at this end, so it can't really be him. So we'll take all those off there. That is quite nasty. An extra shock. They won the melee by 4. So the result of that was the British lost by 4, so they're thrown back 18 inches facing away from the enemy, and they add 4 shock on each group fighting or supporting. Yeah, wow, 18 inches, that is pretty much game over, I would suggest. So 18 inches brings them all the way back to here, facing away, the group with them. This lot will go too. And they're on 4 and they're on 3. Major goes with them because he was caught up in that melee. They're unloaded. We'll put that in there, and we need to do 4 shock on each group. So that's 7 on the front group and 7 on the back group, with only 3 in there. So this is definitely not going well for the Allies. In fact, have they got anybody left? I'm not sure they do. So that's a bad thing that's happened. It certainly is. Enemy defeated in hand, or forced to withdraw, I guess that is. Let's find the table. Here we go. Group obliged to withdraw. In fact, there's 2 groups forced to withdraw. One was a 2, one was a 5, so that's only 1 point for the British. And a level 3 commander. No, nothing for that, because he wasn't wounded and he's not routed and he's not killed, so nothing for that. So nothing happens particularly there, but the British have had to pull back all over here. So at the moment, the situation is the only formations that are in any condition on the Allied side is the British gun, Sergeant Little with his rifleman, or his light infantry, and that is it. Everything else is in a serious trouble. I think the game is pretty much over for the British. British 4. British 4 is actually the voltigeurs in the castle. They are 4 figures with 4 shock. All they can really do is take a shock off. That's basically it for them this turn. It's a level 1 commander, so that's it. British 5. British 5. Who is British 5? Oh, British 5 is the cannon. No wonder I'm worried. Wondering. I haven't seen much from the. We haven't seen anything in the cannon yet. He is going to. What's he going to do? It's a target-rich environment, but it's a little bit nervy. I think what they're going to have to do. He's only a level 1 commander. He's going to turn the gun that way and present. I think that's all he can. I think he can present every turn. Let me just double check that. Yeah, he can present every turn. So he's going to present. Put that marker in front. You never know, you might get a chance to fight those cavalry before they roll up the British line. Next card is British 2. British 2 is Sergeant Little. One of the few remaining formations with any kind of control here. He's in a bit been in the open here. I think the thing for him to do really is to get into this fortification. If he can get in there, the French will have quite a job trying to shift him. And their morale is a little bit suspect, so I think that's the call to do. So we'll roll one dice first of all. The only thing is the doorway's around the back here. Rolls a 1 with the first roll for movement. Rolls a 2 for the second. So he's going to have to use his third dice of movement, which is a 5 this time. So it gives him a grand total of 8. Where's my tape measure gone? It's over there. So 8. Oof, won't even allow them to get in, so they're around the back of the building basically and unloaded. Done it? There's another man there. Can he get to the building before the French manage to take things into their own hands? Next card out is French flag. They're on 3 flags now. What have they got that hasn't activated? Pretty much everything's activated, hasn't it? The Voltigeurs did. The Grenadiers did under the CNC's command. So I think they're going to burn 2 of their flags to activate a sharp practice with the Voltigeurs. They can do that, and they will fire at these Spanish troops lingering in the back there. 2, 4, 6. What's the range? Effective range, so 4's to hit. Only the 2 hits. However, they are in the open. 1 dead. No other effect. How are they doing shock wise? Oops, I have to move this out of the way because it's buried underneath. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shock. Oh, actually it could have been the leader because he was with that group. No, it isn't. 8 shock with 4 men is 2 over. No, 8 shock with 4 men is 4 over. Okay, so if a group has twice the number of shock points as it has figures, then it's broken. However, you count the officer in this time, so he becomes 5, and they've only got 2, 4, 6, 8. So it's only 3 excess, only 3. But they are militia, which is 9 inches to pull back. 9 inches all the way back here. This game is toast. The Allies are taking a complete and utter kicking. They have done virtually from day one. And the French Voltigeurs are unloaded because they did that as a sharp practice. So, interesting. Next card out. French leader 3. French leader 3 is the Grenadier officer up there. He is, well, his troops already activated, so he will just use his own ability to remove 2 shock, and that is it. And it's British 3. British 3. It's the Spanish that have just been forced to withdraw. I mean, he's a level 2 commander. I think all he can do to try and stop them running off the table is take 2 shock off. You've got 6 shock with 5 men, so that's another retire. Only once. I haven't done a dice for retiring yet, have I? Just realised from the last turn. They go back 3 inches this time. So they're slowing, but that's 2 rolls on the forced to withdraw table. Obliged to withdraw twice. That's double 4, which is 2 points of force morale. Plus the officer, well, the officer's okay, he's not wounded or anything, so we don't need to worry about him. So the force morales are now neck and neck, both on 5. Who's going to go down first? Next card out is Tiffin. Tiffin. So that is the end of turn 8. Okay, so here we are, turn 9. Is this going to be the last one for the Allies? It's not looking too rosy, that's for sure. They are in real trouble, in dire straits. Okay, mind you, both force morales are on 5, so you know, who knows. Start off with Allied Leader 3. That is 1, 2, 3. So that's the commander of the Provincials, who's all the way back over the back here now. Oh dear. He is a level, what is he? A level 2 leader. He's got 4 plus himself is 5. Plus this group is on, well, they're on 6 shock. So if he can remove 1 shock, that means that they don't have to retire any further. This group, this other part of his group, which is down here, still within, are they in command radius actually? No, they're not actually. So, okay. So how does that work then? I think they will have to retire again because that's part of his group. I do know they're not being controlled, so he could just use both of his commands on these, recover 2. I may have got that wrong, but I'm going to say that because they are, this group, which is the other part of the formation, is out of his command radius, he doesn't have to. They don't have to act on this card. So he's just taken 2 shock off this group, brings them back down to only 4. Only 4. How ridiculous. Next card out is now this could be quite important. This is Sergeant Little with his light infantry that scooted round the back. These aren't the shock on him, these are the shock on the Spanish that are in the building. So I think he's going to try and get into the tower. Rolls 2 dice, only gets a 5. That's really not going to be enough, especially with that guy in the way. So 5 inches for even for that guy there is only going to get him to the bottom of the stairs. So roll another one, rolls a 6 this time. So we've got plenty of moves. So they'll get in. They're unloaded, and they can't reload at the moment. So the British light infantry get into the tower. That could be crucial. Can Sergeant Little pull this out the fire? He's in the building. He's pushed the Spanish cacadors aside and taken control of the objective. Red flag, blue flag. Tiffin. Ooh, that was a big turn for the Brits. Tiffin already. So, 1 flag each. Both got the same force morale. So we'll have to dice for it. 1, 2, 3. It's the French go first. So it's the Allies can use their card first. So they can only do 1. Do we get this group? Could reform into 1 group. Or do we? No, I think what we're going to do with the Brits, I'd like to do something with these, but they haven't got enough movers. I'm going to try and get Major Roy under control. Because actually this front formation is actually quite intact. They're unloaded, all of them. It's the back formation that's in well, I don't know, they've got a lot of shock, even the front ones, but 2, 4, 6, 7 shock and 8 men. But he is a level 3 commander. So I think what he's going to do, he is going to order this group to turn round first of all, because that makes sense. I think they'll also expand out into a proper line formation. They've got a heck of a lot of shock on them, but at least the cavalry who are in the distance there would be hitting them in the front, which gives them half a chance, although with all that shock I'm not sure I fancy the chances even then. Okay, that's all they can do, because turning around takes one action. I'm going to say turning around and expanding takes one action, and then the other one they will reload themselves, so at least they are armed, ready to fire next turn. Alright, French have one flag. What to do with that? Where's going to cause the most mayhem? We could try and move the cavalry forward. They are at the walk, so they're going to have to go up to the canter, because they slow to the walk when they hit the enemy. They're a long way away from these British. Probably not worth it. Probably not worth it at all. So I think instead what we might do, so I keep moving this around all over the place. So I think what we're going to do is order this group to activate. They will reload for a start, and then they will snap out into a line formation like that. That's one of the guys from the previous lot were killed. So I think that's all they'll do. That must be shock on them, I guess. Must be on the back column, actually, so which is now there. So that's basically all they're going to be able to do, and that's the end of turn 9. Quick turn. Alright, so back to turn 10. Let's see what comes out the cards. So, French card this time, French 4. That is Sergeant Hugo with the Voltigeurs. They've basically not acted on themselves, they've only ever acted as part of orders from somebody else. So they're manning the barricade there, seem to be doing quite a good job. I think that what they may do next, I think if we can keep pressure on the Allies, then they may break the Allied formation. So I think what they're going to do, they're going to fire, reload and fire at the Spanish provincials who are down here. So they move forward. They're going to need one action to reload. They've got a free movement. I think they're far from where they are, because these guys are in the open. However, it's going to be 6s to hit. Skirmishers at range makes it 5s to hit, but they have got 7 dice. Because they get 1 for their sergeant with them. Hitting on 5s. It's 2 hits. 2 hits on the Spanish. And that's 2 more shock on them. 2 more shock. We're on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 shock. 1 more off double. So they're going to have to retire again. So 12 shock, and they're 2, 4, 6, 7 men. So that's 5. That's a 15-inch retirement. Wow. That's pretty much them out the game. All the way back to here. I'm running out of markers for these fellas. So they are all the way back there. And the Voltigeurs are unloaded. That is another bad thing that's happened. A 3. I don't think that's anything actually. Group forced to retire. It's a shame they just couldn't, from the French perspective, a shame they just couldn't put that double on. That would have been a good result. 3, the group obliged to retire is nothing. So sadly, that doesn't help on the force morale. Next card out is a French flag. Next one, another French flag. So that's 2 flags in a row. 3 flags in a row. That is a random event, random firing event on the voltigeurs. It's a 3 in total then. Fouled barrels. The unit has fouled barrels. They fire with a -1 to hit until their weapons can be cleansed with water. If in contact with water, it takes a full move to clean the barrels. Now they have got the river behind them. That does mean they've got to retire to the river to clean out their barrels. Okay, we'll put a little black marker so I remember that that's happened to them. It's unfortunate. Another flag. So that's 2 French, 2 Allied flags so far. And red leader 3. Red leader 3 is the Spanish. Spanish really didn't want this at this precise moment, I don't think. So it is the major here. He's a level 2. This group is gone. There's nothing he can do to save them, I don't think. Well, is there anything he can do to save his own group? They've got 4 shock. These have got 10 shock. He could take 2 shock off these, but they're still going to retire. God dear. Decisions. I don't think he can save these. I really don't think he can save these. I think all he can do is try and save his own unit here. He will take 1 shock off them. He'll take 2 shocks off them. I think that's all he'll do. Which means he doesn't have to control these fellas. Means they don't have to retire this turn. Blue flag. That's 3 blue flags. Red 2. Oh, that is Sergeant Little in the tower now. Unloaded, but ready to cause some mayhem. So he will reload and he will fire. Does he do a gamey thing or does he do objective thing? The gamey thing is to fire on the already in trouble light infantry, French infantry that have retired here, because that may give them break their force morale. So I think that's what they'll do. If he fires at this bigger group, I could just fire at the one group here, the man here. So I think he's going to fire at it seems a waste of shots. If he fires at these, he's in effective range, which is a 4 to hit. Their light infantry at range is 3s to hit. I think that's the call. 3s to hit. It might even get the junior officer that was with them. There's 6 plus the sergeant himself, so 7 dice. Needing 3s. He missed with 2, so that's 5 hits. 5 hits. Oh, 2 misses. He killed somebody and 2 shock. Is it the sergeant? No, it's not. So 2 dead, 1 dead and 2 shock. So we'll take that guy away. 2 shock, which pushes them on 5 shock with 3 men. 3 men, which means they have to retire. Sergeant has to go with them. That's a bad thing that's happened. Oh, 5 is 1 off the French force morale. However, the sergeant is unloaded again. Blue leader 6. Blue leader 6 is our French lancers. So, what to do? The cavalry. The obvious thing for them to do is to try and keep the pressure up on Major Roy and head towards the British line. Now then, but the British also have a choice, because that gun on the hill at the back there is loaded and aimed. They could interrupt and fire a sharp practice volley before the cavalry move, or they wait and see how far the cavalry get. Cavalry have got about 20 inches to make contact with the line. They're going to be doing 6. No, they can't possibly do it. So there's no point in the British interrupting, because they can always do the interruption at the end of the turn if they need to. However, do the cavalry want to risk it and charge towards the British? The British are now facing them. They are armed, loaded and ready to go. Or do the French cavalry try and be a bit sneaky? Choices. I think it's because the French cavalry can't make contact with the British line. I think what they will try and do is head round the corner into that gap there. I think in return, what we're going to do is the British gun is going to fire. It's already aimed and loaded, and it's at 26 inches away from those cavalry. The French morale's already a little bit brittle, so it could be a way we can turn this game around. It's only a light gun at 26 inches is effective range, which is a 5 and a 6 to hit. It's 10 dice, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. As I say, hitting on a 5 or a 6, wasn't it? It's presented, so that's a 4. Can it actually do anything in this game, this gun? More than half, so that was pretty good. Missed with 4, hit with 6. One more than half. Cavalry are in the open. That is 5 shock. That's quite shocking. Quite a shocking experience for the cavalry. There we go. The cannon is therefore double unloaded because it takes 2 turns to reload a cannon, but it's actually done a fair bit of damage on those cavalry. Well, I didn't kill anybody, but it did dampen their ardour, shall we say. So we'll continue with the French cavalry move. He is a status 2 commander, so he can remove one of those shock. And he will advance, he'll move to the canter, and he'll do, there's no point running out in front of these guys because they could potentially fire while they're pretty knackered. It's better that we come around the gap here, particularly while we've got shock on. So we're going to roll 2 dice, 6, get a +6 as well, so 12-inch move, and they're staying at the canter, but they get behind this wood. Oh, hang on, they'd lose 2 inches off that, so they go down to 10 inches. There. So some of them can be seen, because they lose 2 inches because they've got shock. There we go. Trying to get around the flank again, which is the best thing to do in cavalry. Cavalry in sharp practice, unless you're charging very damaged units, is very difficult to do much. And that line is damaged at one end, but the other end is still pretty intact. Next card, British 4. British 4 is the Cacadors. Cacadors sitting in the fort, sharing the fortifications with the British. They are unloaded. They're on 3 shock now, so they're actually a viable unit now. Oh, it's been very interesting now for the Allies. What should we do? I think they will reload and move to the lower windows. I think that's what we'll do with them. No, actually no, we'll reload. Might as well try and get themselves back into full fettle. So they'll take 1 shock off, So they're now only on 2 shock, and they will move downstairs with 1 dice of movement. 4. That looks like perfect. I've lost my tape measure again. 4 inches means that they are at these windows here. So I'll just pop them behind so I know that. Actually, it was 4 men and the officer, not 5. So they had lost a couple of figures. Cool. That is good for the Allies, at least. That fort is now quite heavily held. British 5. It's all British again. British 5 is... oh, it's the gun battery. They've already fired, so nothing they can do. British flag. They've burnt 2 flags, haven't they? So that's their 1 more flag for them. So nothing much we can do with that. French 2. French 2 is the sergeant down here with this group that's been running away. They are on 2, 4, 5. Actually, no, 5, but there's 6 of them there, so it isn't double. He's a level 1, so he will take 1 shock off. However, they're still 1 over, which means they're going to have to retire again. Only 2 inches this time, so they move back a little bit further. But it is a bad thing that happened. 3 is nothing, so that was worth the risk. French flag, so that gives them 4 flags. 4 flags, which means they can activate something that's already activated this turn, which actually isn't very much. Or seems a shame not to waste. But the trouble is that what they really want to do is get a double move with either the grenadiers or the level 1 or the number 1 officer. So I think we're going to hold off for the second. Take a chance. We've been lucky so far. We'll take a chance. Another flag. That's another British flag. So that's 2 flags for them. British 6. British 6 is Captain Eldridge here. Okay. He's a level 2 commander. First of all, he will order the line to reload because they don't want to get charged by these guys unloaded. They've got 3 shock and they've got 3 shock. I think he will burn... I think he's going to burn both the flags, to be fair, make himself a level 4 commander and take 1 shock off each of these. Because if he can get himself... no, what? No. What? Yes. Yes, no, make your mind up, Dom. I make him a level 4 commander. They've reloaded as 1. He can then use another command to make them form into 1 group. Like that. However, they've still got 6 shock. So then he has got 2 orders left. So what he could do is take those 2, take 2 shock off. Doing a bit out of order. Now the infantry have still got 1 formation left, 1 action left. Do they fire at the French? Start to put some shock. I think they do. No, because I'm going to lose 4 dice. I think they wait. We'll take a chance. We'll wait. French leader 1. That was what the French were waiting for. What to do? So, Major Marcel, with his who's a level 3 commander. Now, effectively, he's got a bounce move because we know they've got 4 flags, so he can redo himself afterwards. He's got a musician with him, so his command radius will allow him to control those grenadiers over there as well. Oops. So I think what he's going to do, is order the grenadiers first of all. He's going to get, they're within his command radius. They will reload and they will start to march. They'll only get 1 dice of move because that was 1 action off. They get a 4, which allows them to move forward to there. They've still got a shock on each, and there's 2 men down on that end, but I think was he this side? I think he was this side. I can't remember. So that's the first activation for the Major. His second action, you can't control the voltigeurs because they've already acted this turn. He's out of range of this group that's running away. So his second action will be to remove the shock from this line here, and I think it'll just get him to fire. I think that's the... I'm tempted to charge, but it didn't come off so well last time, so I think what he's going to do is hope that his volley can do some damage to these Spanish. There's a lot of targets here now. Well, this is not easy for the French now. All of a sudden it's changed. I think they'll fire. I think they'll fire. So this group will fire at these, and this group will fire at those. That's the way to go here. We're in close range, so we'll take them separately because it's easy to work it out. You've got 8 men here. They'll be hitting on a 4, hitting on 4. Missed with 3, so they got 5 hits. 5 hits on these fellas. That's 1, 2, 3, or 2 hits and a dead. So it can't be the officer, so it's just 2 and 2 shock. Sorry, it's 1 and 2 shock. It was 1 killed and 2 shock, is what I was trying to say. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6. So they're bang on them amount there. So that group can reload. The other half of the... I know this would be done as 1 fire, but it just makes it easier for working out the losses. The other group of 7 plus the officer gives them 10 dice. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Firing at the guys in the building. Again, it's going to be 4s to hit. Yeah, slightly more than the odds. They hit with 2, 4, 6. Now these guys, however, are in hard cover. So they are 5s and 6s for any effect. So we'll do 3 on the Spaniards. It's 1 dead. And 3 on the British. Nothing at all. So Sergeant Little's troops escape, but the Spanish do lose one of their cacadors, or another one of their cacadors. So they're down to just 3 men and an officer now. And both the French can reload. So that was Major's first activation. All his 3 activations. Now he's going to burn his 4 cards to reactivate again. Now, because he's reactivating again, he can only control his own group, however, now, because everything else has done something. So, what is he going to do? They're going to go for glory. I honestly think they're going to try, and this group is going to charge them with that group supporting. Maybe daft, but I think that's what we're going to try and do. If they can break Captain Eldridge, they've got a chance. Let's roll for charge. They're keen, look at that, double 6, 12 inches. So they pile into there and they move to support. Major's with the well, he can move to the front, guys, I think. Don't know whether he can or can't, but we're going to say he does, and he's there. So we have hand to hand. Now both sides are loaded this time, but we'll see what happens. Captain Eldridge, can he do his duty? So he is on, Eldridge is on 6 dice, 2, 4, 6. So are the French. Some more dice. 6. The French have support of 3, so it gets them 3 more dice. The British have a level 2 leader, gives them 2 more dice, and the French have a level 3 leader, gives them 3 more dice. French are worse quality. Each higher quality is +1, so that's +2. Sorry. So the French get, the Allies get 2 more dice. We'll just put those for the moment, because the British will have got 2, 4, 6 shock, so that costs them 3 dice. So we'll just take those counters away. So that is it. The Allies have 2, 4, 6, 7. The French have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So let's see what the British can do. Pretty good roll, actually. 3 6s. 3 6s. See what the French are made of. The charges haven't really come off quite as well. Well, that's better. That is 3 5s and 2 6s. Was that another one? No, that was one I didn't use. So that means 5 losses on the British. Is it Eldridge? It is. One of them is Eldridge, and the French lost 3, but it isn't the major. So what's happened to Eldridge? 1. He's killed. Oh, Eldridge is down. This could be game over. And they lost 2, 4 more men. So there's just 1 man left in that unit. However, they also take 2 more shock, which means that group routs. So we have a couple of bad things happened there. Major Eldridge dies, and his formation is broken. 6. That is 6. Got me markers all caught up. That's him. Okay, after checking the camera, it was 3 6s on the. You're probably all screaming at me for that, but 3 6s on the French. I believe they're spread, so that's basically 3 shock. So we'll spread them across both units, and that is a resounding win for the French. So we're going to need to do some break tests here. So we've had a group obliged to break. A group that broke, actually. It's not, is it? Because they routed. Rolling a 2 is 1 point off their force morale, and a level 2 commander has been killed. Another 2, level 2 commander killed is another point. So the British are down to 3 force morale. The French are on 4. So next turn, as it stands, the the British will lose a command card, and then it's Tiffin. So that's the end of turn 10. So we'll have a shuffle. It's difficult to see how. Well, I don't know what's going to happen here. I really don't. I'm going to take a British flag out because their force morale has dropped to only 3. We'll play it on, see what happens. See if somehow the somehow the Allies can turn this one around, or not. So, right, onwards. Turn 11. First card out. This has definitely been a French game, I would suggest. Okay, so that is the major again here. He's a level 3, as we know. He's not in range of those voltages, so he's not really in range of much anymore. He's a level 3 commander, as we know, so his first command will be to remove the shock of this lone member of one of the groups that was broken earlier in melee. His second will be to take the shock off one of these shocks off the front group, and his third will be to organise these guys to do something. Now, do they just ignore? I don't know what to do here really, whether to continue to charge after Eldridge, or Eldridge's formation that's down here, or swing round, because I think that taking the fortification is going to be almost impossible. I think the only way the French can win this is going to be by breaking the Allied morale. So I think they are going to keep moving. They're in a sort of loose column at the moment. They move 5 inches is all they get, sadly. They're going to keep rolling. So they come down to here, like that. They've only got 1 shock now on each group. I suppose they're sort of in a column, so under our local rules, you can re-roll. You can roll 3 dice and get 1 extra. Oh, still rolled a 1. 3 dice and take the best is how we play that for a column. So we're still moving forward, and that is blue leader 1 done. We have a red flag. Blue leader 4. Blue leader 4 is the voltages. The voltages over here. Now they've got fouled weapons, haven't they? So what do we do with them? I think they're just going to keep moving. I think, like the guys over here, they like the foot troops, going to keep moving. We're going to move 1 dice of movement. So they reloaded, obviously, taking the smoke away. 4 inches this time. Oh, his musket's got a bit bent. Ooh. No wonder his barrel's fouled. There we go, hop them over, and then if they got him to shoot at, they could fire at the Major's troops over here. I think that's probably the best thing to do. They've got a lot of... I don't think I can... I could see the Spanish down the back there. I think they fire at the Spanish. The Spanish are getting ready to reform and come back down into the fight. So I think we'll fire at the Spanish. It's long range, so it's 6s, goes down to 5 because we are light skirmishers. So we get 6 dice for the figures and 1 for the sergeant. So 5s and 6s. Wow. They've suddenly got their shooting boots on. That's 4 hits. 4 hits onto the Spanish. They've got their commander with them, but they are in the open. But not particularly effective volley, in the fact only 1 shock. So they don't even have to take a test for that. So they survive. But the voltages are back down to being... oh, I should have taken 1 off as well. Oh well, we'll even it out. I've had the fouled barrels, didn't I? I forgot that. Never mind. In the end, it was only 1 shock, so they got away with it. It's all French again. That is the Grenadiers. That is our friends the Grenadiers who started this, I don't know what we're going to call it, debacle? Not really, it's been just hard-fought victory, I think, so far. So the Grenadiers are going to do as fast as they came down this way, I think. wow, 11. In 11. And they are certainly going to be getting in the face with the British infantry down there. There we go. Next card, British flag. So that's 2 Allied flags. I think for the moment they'll hold on. British 6. British 6 is, well, the command formerly known as Eldridge. He's dead, so will the remaining man become the officer? No, he won't. So the group continues to rout because it's got 1 figure and a heck of a lot of shock. Does 7 inches this time, not quite off the table. And that is that. Next card, Tiffin. Tiffin, so this time the Brits have, or the Allies have 2 flags. The French have none. So, what to do? One of the biggest threats at the moment to the morale of the Allies is these voltigeurs down here. I think therefore Sergeant Little is going to reload his men with using one of the flags. He's then going to order them all to move 1 dice to that direction. So you get a 4. So, whoops. They move over to the. Whoops, I'm not really showing this on the camera, am I? Let me move that over. There we go. Now you can see what's going on. Sorry about that. So they rolled a 4. So they're moving across to this side of the castle, or the tower. So 4 of them will fire down onto the voltigeurs below them. They have the sergeant with them as well. Oh no, sergeant can't because it's the end of turn shot. It's moving. They're firing on the command cards. So, do they get an advantage of firing above? No, appears not. Okay, so it's close range. It's going to be 4s. Only the 1 hit. Only the 1 hit. And it does absolutely nothing. Oh dear. So they're unloaded again. And then what to do with the other flag that Brits have, or the Allies have? We could do it with the Spanish. But then, I'm not sure there's only 1 window on that side from the Spanish side, so they'll only get 2 shots. Mind you, there's only 4 of them. I think what the Allies will do. I think we're going to have to move. I think therefore he's going to activate this group here. He is a level 3 commander. They've got an awful lot of shock. Awful lot of shock. So I think he's going to take 2 shock off this side here. And then he's going to get his boys to present. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Well, we've got to try and do something here. So he's going to present and fire at the grenadiers who come around the corner. They might get lucky. You never know. You might get lucky. It's only going to be this group because this group is a wood in the way, so the shots will be wasted. But we have, oops, knocking over a tree. A range of, it's effective range, but we have got 5 shock. So we'll lose 2 figures. So 2, 4, 5. 5 shots is all that group is going to get. But they have presented, so it's going to be 4s down to 3s. Just 3 hits. So we're going to put 2 hits on the side with the French officer. So it's one shock there and one on the other side. Nothing at all. Oh dear. So just one shock for all that. And I think this game is done. So no counters unloaded, which may be a dangerous thing with the cavalry still around. Right, shuffle up. This is turn 12. I feel this is the last turn. I might just come down to this end, film from this end, because I feel, as I say, this game is coming to an end here. Right, first card. Blue 4. Blue 4 is our voltigeurs. Not really what the Allies wanted to see here. So they will advance, they'll reload and advance one dice, which they get 5 inches. So there. Must remember they got fouled weapons this time. I forgot last time. Not that it mattered, because they're to kill was terrible. They are going to fire at the Spanish foot down here. The distance is long range, so it's going to be 5s, which goes to 6s. Okay. Or should they fire at the 6s to hit? Or they could fire straight. Are they behind the flank? Some of them are behind the flank there. No. Only 2 behind the flank. I think they're going to fire at these guys instead. I think that's the better way to do. They might get lucky. So the 2 shots that are coming in from the flank are going to be hitting on, on 4s. 1 hits. What does it do? 1, which is doubled to 2 shock. So, get some shock counters. There we go. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more men plus the sergeant. So 5 dice who will be hitting on 4s, but they are at the front. Oh yes, it should be 1 worse. It was 5s because of fouled weapons, Dom. Keep remembering. I threw a 5 on the first one anyway, so that's only 1 more hit. And does absolutely nothing. So, not particularly effective, but it does put another shock on the British here. Or in fact 2, so they're now at 2, 4, 6, 7 shock. So they're building it up again. Right, next card. British flag. French flag. British leader 2. Now that is our friend Sergeant Little up in the tower there. See if he can do a bit more effect on those voltigeurs. He's going to reload and fire. He has all 6 remaining men and himself. They're at close range, which is 4s, and they are or effective range, which is 4s, and they're skirmishers, which makes it 3, or light infantry, makes it 3s. So they still managed to miss with 2. 5 hits on the voltigeurs. However, they count as light infantry. Well, they are in skirmish order. Oh, he took down 2 of them, and 2 shock. 2 dead and 2 shock. Has Dead-Eyed Dead-Eyed Little taken down the sergeant? He has. One of the hits is on the sergeant. Okay. What's happened to the French sergeant? Let's take the dice out of the way. French sergeant has taken a light wound, I believe. Yep, light wound. So that is a bad thing that's happened for the French. A light wound on a level 1 officer. Rolling a 3 is 1 point of force morale. So the French join the Allies on 3 force morale. This is getting tight. And that is the end of Sergeant Little's activities. British 6. British 6. Allied 6. So that Allied 6 is Eldridge, who is down and out pretty much here. Let's see if this man can stand up. Actually, we don't really want him to. We don't want to even try, because if he stands up, he still is all this shock. He's still going to continue to rout, and then he counts as an officer leaving the table. So I don't think we're even going to try and replace. They roll 7, which basically gets them off the table. So that is a group leaving the table, which is a bad thing that's happened, I believe. So let's see what this happens. This could potentially be the end of the game here. Let's see. Just double check that they need to take a test for that. No, actually they don't need to take a test for that. It's they've already taken it with drawing and everything and routing, so they don't need to do a test for leaving the table. However, I was right. If we'd replaced Eldridge, then it would have been an officer routing, which would have been a test. So we'll take 6 out the cards, because there is no 6 anymore. French 3. French officer 3 is the Grenadiers. Oh dear. Right, what are they going to do? He's a level 2 officer. He is going to take 1 point of shock off the group that has 2. I don't believe the Grenadiers can present again. They can only do it with their first volley. So he will just order them to fire at the British. There's 2 men at the end missing, so we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, plus himself 16 dice. 16 dice. What's the range? No, it's well within effective range. So 5s and 6s to hit. It's 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Not brilliant, but 5 hits will do. Actually, no, it's probably about odds, isn't it? And they are hitting British in the open, so they could decide where to put the casualties. I think they're going to put 3 on. Unusually, we're going to put 3 on this end of the line, because this group's already knackered. I'm going to try and make that route. So 3 shots there is 2 more shock on them, and 2 hits on this side. Oh, a dead and 1 point of shock. Can't be Major Roy, because it wasn't. It was a volley rather than a skirmish shots. So they can then reload. So let's have a look at the situation here. On this side of the line, we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 shock on 3 figures. So that means that group routs. It's double what it's got in figures, so it goes and runs backwards and away. Oops, I'll take them off the base, because typically they're on the edge of the hill, and it never works when they're on the edge of the hill. So they run to about there. And look at all that shock they've got with them. Major Roy's formation, he's now got 2, 4, 6, 8 shock. He's got 2, 4, 6, 7 men, so he is going to have to retire as well. Only an inch. He only has to retire an inch, but still, that's not good. So we have, that's the smoke for the cannon. We have a group that has routed. What do they roll? 5. Oh dear. A group breaks on a 5 is 2 off the force morale, which brings them down to 1. And then they have to do another test for a group obliged to withdraw. If they roll a 4, 5 or a 6, their force morale is 0. And they've rolled a 4. The 4 and the 5 are the last two things I've just rolled. So the British force morale goes down to 0, which means their forces break. And on turn 12, the French are victorious. They are utterly victorious. Utterly. Their force morale is on 3, so it wasn't exactly a clear one thing. But looking at the forces, the Spanish are done. The other British formation that was on this flank is done. Roy's formation is also done. However, interestingly, and maybe this is a future scenario, Sergeant Little and the Spanish Cacadors are still in the fortification, surrounded by pretty much intact grenadiers, cavalry, some voltigeurs, and at least half of the French line infantry are still in full fettle and ready to fight. But there you go, that was the end of the game. Turn 12 was decisive. Force morale has dropped to 0 for the Allies, and therefore the game is done. And it is a victory, dare I say it, for the Frenchies. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, share, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. And let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I love Sharp Practice. I think it really works, particularly as a solo game, because the card mechanics. However, I think I might try something different next time. Let me know in the comment section what you'd like me to do. I'm thinking either I'm sort of hankering after doing a War of the Roses game using Seventh Son's adaptation of Hail Caesar. I quite fancy having a reasonably large game of that. See if I can work that as a solo play along game. But anyway, let me know what you think, and stay safe, stay well, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out. Oh, apologies for being so long in this final version coming, but we got there in the end.